So what the role that constituency office staff have there is essentially being a conduit to people's concerns and questions and the federal bureaucracy. And the more you can, again, be patient and explain to people what's happening, because English may not be their first language, the more you can do at being a better communicator, the better you can help people.
So mainly what we deal with is immigration, serves Canada with pension, security, income security, GIS, guaranteed income supplements, student loans, we support with that. And CRA passports. So folks come about with regards to all of that. So often
questions about housing. It's a pretty long list, but I feel like those are kind of most of the things that we hear about often. Just today I had someone call in and ask about the new green bins that are rolling out. So a lot of kind of nitty-gritty stuff, and then also bigger pieces about homelessness or the poverty reduction strategy and other stuff like that that the councillor is working on.
Okay, great. So thank you so much for our speakers. We're going to open up the discussion with any questions from the audience. I just want everyone to be mindful of the time. So if you have any questions, just try to keep to about 1 minute for your question. So try to be as succinct and concise when you're asking.
This question actually is directed to the city. Right. Working in a constituency office of the federal government with Bill Monroe, we always encounter issues from the constituents regarding housing. Do you think that because we are the finance minister and we give money, actually appropriation of money for the housing, we are responsible for the housing, right? Having said that, we try to somehow explain to the people the role of each federal government. What's the best way to solve this?
It's really challenging, and a lot of the time, what we can do and what we do is that we will check in with whatever the authority is that needs to be checked in with. So if you've applied for a housing unit and you have been waiting for a while, we check in and find out, is there anything that's possible that can get you a unit sooner than later?
We've talked a lot about housing, so maybe Claudia, if you don't mind, just a little bit on what's happening here in Regent Park with the redevelopment, where we are at with people being moved out and moved back in.
We are approaching kind of phases 4 and 5 that will be happening over the next several years. And from what I understand, the intention is to not have any more movement kind of out of the community. So there should be sufficient space when people have to move from the units they're in within those phases.
How do you kind of gang up with each other to get things done for the people who live here in the neighborhood? Can you talk to me about the process a little bit and maybe speak on behalf of then how do you interact with Glenn Murray's office since Glenn's folks aren't here?
About it. Sometimes we do actually have Glenn Murray's office's consent form, so we'd have the constituents sign it right there, provide all the information, and then just email it to them, and they will be able to then meet up with that person and finish up that part of the job.
People are concerned about cycling lanes that are, the paint's rubbed off or anything like that. It's something that we would take, and we do get that kind of thing from Glenn Murray's office also, because people are pretty connected to the more, I guess, like on the ground local constit issues.
When you entered a constituency office, what was most surprising to you about the work that you were doing? What caught you off guard? Maybe now you think, well, of course, but when you got there, it really surprised you that this was part of what you were doing every day. So,
the citizenship that we have, or birth certificates that we have, or passports, we take it for granted. And there are folks that are really and truly trying to get their papers, and you get to see or hear or meet with folks that have been here for 18 years, 20 years, and have no papers. Mm-hmm. And they're trying their best to be able to receive those papers, and it's just, immigration is one of the biggest things, and sometimes, it's like, we take it for granted.
I have to say, what surprised me was the intense output of feeling and thought and emotion and opinion and need it's just like a river of humanity that you dip your toe in, and it's amazing, and it's terrifying, and it's upsetting, and you know, you're one individual and you're responding to so many different calls, and you don't really know kind of what's going to come in next.
Every day when I would go into the office, I would actually get to travel around the world. And what I mean by that is, you know, hour after hour, 30 minutes after 30 minutes, another individual would come in, and they would be from a different part of the world than the person who just came. So
does anyone else have a question?
I was wondering what the various offices are doing to address the disproportionality of Black incarcerated youth.
We really have to look at anti-Black racism as kind of the starting point. And the city has recently put forward a kind of a campaign to kind of unearth and bring to light the fact that this is still a really serious issue that's pervasive throughout, you know, every realm: housing, employment, things like that.
So talk to us a little bit about what goes on in the provincial constituency office, and what kind of questions you field, and what kind of issues you deal with there. So,
you know, the thing about a constituency office, it's really a hub of activity. I think when I first started working for Bill Graham, I had no idea about the volume of people that those offices are there to help. And the Toronto Centre ridings and municipal ward has not only a lot of diversity, but a lot of complexity, and a lot of people who require assistance. You really quickly in those offices need to develop your people skills very quickly, be very patient. You really have to multitask and get back to people. There's nothing worse than hearing in an office or when you're on the campaign trail, I called your office many times and I never heard back.
Alright, so does anyone else have a question they'd like to ask? Yeah,
go for it. Remember, there's a time pause that you're on in 3 months, 3 years. Then you can apply for your children, your families that you left home. Is that still existed?
So there is a parents-grandparents sponsorship once a year. That is what that actually comes through once a year, where people submit their sponsorship for parents and their grandparents if they are intending to sponsor them. And so therefore, right now, as of January this year, it started that there's a profile people submit. And once they submit that profile, 10,000 people will be chosen out of that profile because everybody submits the application. And so in order to be able to, then once people are chosen from that profile, then they submit their application.
We have somehow changed somebody's life, and we brought a person here tonight to share how his life has been changed. So please welcome Abi Amgad.
I was scheduled to get deportated back to Sudan, and I think last October. And I lost hope, and 2 days before my deportation, I went to my MP's office, Bill Monod's office, and I talked to someone there, and he was like, I know your situation, but it's too late now. And I left. I was getting ready to go back to Sudan. And a few hours after, I had a call, and the same person is like, you know what, can you bring me your paper and we can try and we'll see what's gonna happen. Like, with the effort and compassion of the people working there, Minda, Foss, and AJ, who's not here today, my deportation was dismissed.
Thank you so much to our 3 participants. Like I say, they're usually not in front of the mic. They're usually in the back of the room while their elected officials are doing most of the talking. So nice to hear from them. Because when you pick up the phone and call the constituency office, Bill Morneau or Glenn Murray or Pam McConnell are not going to pick up the phone. These folks are going to pick up the phone. They're going to talk to you. They're going to do what they can to help you. And if you need to speak with the elected representative, they can make that happen. But they're just my experience has always been that they're there and they're helpful, and we should applaud what they do, because government wouldn't work without them. So thanks for coming. I think there's still some more snacks there if you want them, and we'll talk to you soon.